what have been some of your best projects like, and how much have they grown since they came to you? And how could we have gotten into that?
Yeah, well, so some of the best names would be Avalanche. I believe it was probably in the top 10 at some
Big
point.
one.
We are public, transparent. You can check everything. You can go join our public chat and, ask people for their experience, how things are. You can contact me if you want to ask me anything. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. And I think the price, in my opinion, is quite low at the moment for a lot of projects. So I think it's a good buying opportunity for gains, but for a lot of tokens in general in the market.
What's going on, cowboy? In this video, we've got a crypto project that I've been talking about for some time now. I personally have money invested in. This video is not paid sponsored by anything. It's just something that I thought was helpful for me and would be helpful for you. It's an AMA with the CEO and co-founder of Gains Associates. His name is Alex, and we'll meet him in a second. But I just want to let you know that during this bear market, for me, I've taken it as time to start collecting into projects and to particularly launch pads that I think will stand the chance to stand through the bear market and then into the next bull run. But there are some critical questions that we need to ask of any project that we are investing in, especially in this market. And we're here to ask those top hard-hitting questions today. If you're new to this channel, my name is Aaron. I'm on a journey to my next Bitcoin while helping you to your next Bitcoin. Not your financial advisor, just a lizard brain cowboy exploring the wild west of cryptocurrency with a whole bunch of other cowboys. If you want to roll with us, the Telegram, the Saloon, it's up and available for you. Hit the comments down below. Subscribe, of course. Give us a like button if you find this information very valuable. Anyway, like I said, there's a whole bunch of crypto projects out there, but there's a bunch of YouTubers who just get paid to show these projects. And I like to do developer interviews, getting into the brain behind everything, because I want to know, hey, is this a scam? Is this worth our time? Who are we investing in? And today we have Alex, the CEO and co-founder of a project called Gains Associates. Again, fully disclosure, I love this project. I'm involved in this project, and this is probably some reasons why you might want to be involved too. So before I bring him on today, I have a quick intro for him. Okay, here's the intro. He launches new projects on his pad, brings us together, comrade. Gives you the gains with games and blockchains, walking to the moon like Jackson. He's bad. He is Alex, the co-founder of Gains Associates. Welcome to the channel, Alex.
Aaron, thank you so much. I love the JCal intro. I love the energy, and I'm waiting for the hard questions.
Good deal.
So thank you for the kind words, and I'm ready.
Good deal. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that All In podcast. Be sure to check it out. J Cal, that's who I got it from for sure. Some people think I'm a rapper, but I'm not. It's like a Asian rapping cowboy. So it's just the intro that I like to do. If you could just tell me a little bit of background of you, Alex, like coming into crypto. What's your background like as you before you started up Gains Associates here?
Sure. So I'm 29, from Paris, France, and studied computer science. Nothing like really exciting. After that, I spent a year trying to become a professional League of Legends player, so a video game player.
Yeah.
Like these guys in Korea, and they're super super good.
Yep.
I was pretty good, but it was very very tiring mentally. You spend 14 hours a day on the computer, and you have to be very focused. So that was a very nice experience. Got to learn about myself, communication with other teammates, and also how to resist under stress. But it was very hard, and it's not like football. It's not like a mainstream sport. So only the very very top guys get paid nice money.
Mhm.
So we were just taking a break, and a friend told me about Bitcoin in 2017, and that's pretty much how I got in through a friend. And then we started investing small amounts with friends, and things happened afterwards, I guess.
Gotcha. That's awesome. So tell me about Gains Associates. First of all, I love League of Legends. Okay, so I main Vayne and ADC. So I love. You're obviously better than me because I was hot garbage. But I'm curious about Gains Associates. Can you tell me the broad scopes of like what your project is, what this Launchpad's all about? Like, how do you think about what Gains is trying to accomplish and what it's trying to do?
Right. So you could think of gains as a launchpad for early stage deals. So launchpad is usually there for public sales, and we do the same thing for seed rounds and private sales. And so it's a bit of a different dynamic. You get tokens cheaper, but your capital is locked for longer. There's a bit more risk.
Mhm.
So it's a trade off. It's for different people, maybe. And so it's called a decentralized VC, but essentially it's a community of investors. And it started back in 2017, 2018. There were lots and lots of groups. They were called pool groups at the time, because that's pretty much what we do. We pool the money of investors together, and that gives us more power. Initially, the idea, if I simplify, is that you take 1K from 100 people, and then you have 100K. And with that 100K, you have more leverage. You can get better terms for everyone that each individual on his own wouldn't have been able to get. So that's pretty much, strength in numbers, collaboration that plays a part. That's the idea.
Awesome. Awesome. So I have a few questions with going about all this. How did Gains? I know you said it started as a pool, but how did it collectively organize? Where do you get the projects from, and what do you do for the project? So that's a little bit of a broader scope. So I'm asking like how Gains works essentially.
Right. So, to be honest, there is a degree of centralization, but the community is very, very useful. So we source the deals through friends that have VCs or influencers or launchpads, and through our own research as well. We have a research team, that just goes on Twitter and tries to see the VCs who they're following, what they're commenting, and trying to find clues and everything. We follow Crunchbase announcements and try to get in those very good projects backed by top tier investors. And what's very good about the community is that you could think of it as decentralized due diligence. So, as I said, we have a research team, which is good. They're very good, but they cannot see everything. They only have 24 hours, and we're just a few people in the research team, but the community is literally hundreds of people, hundreds of eyeballs, and mouse that click everywhere on the websites. And so it didn't happen often, but a few times the community uncovered some kind of weird things about the founder's past, and so we just decided to skip a deal. So the community aspect, when you see everyone asking questions that we hadn't thought of, and so that's very powerful and reassuring, because the guys that we have, they're very, like, they're deep crypto guys. They have been here for a few years, and they have been through some bear markets, so they don't take shit really. They're we're actually very open. Some people, they will say sometimes, hey, I don't like this deal. The valuation is too high, it's shit, whatever. Sometimes a bit strong words, but it's good because it's very open, and so it allows everyone to see different opinions. So that's pretty much how it works, and no one is forced to invest in any deal. When you're part of the community, you see the deal flow, and you can decide, hey, I like this deal, I'll invest in this one, or I don't like this deal, I don't have funds, maybe, or whatever. So you can choose.
Okay, gotcha. So you're saying you have a team of researchers who scour Twitter and they do things like follow these big time investors, and then like these they try to look for with like these small startup projects, and then I guess they reach out to those projects, and then a dialogue comes on, and then they bring them on board. And then with that, you have that core team, and then just the community in general is also just a whole bunch of like little researchers trying to bring things to you and like sourcing more things to in front of your eyes. Is that about it?
Yeah, and something maybe that's is interesting to mention is that we also get contacted by a lot of projects. I don't know, maybe five a day, which amounts to a lot, in a month. And we pass on 99% of the projects that contact us, because there's something that is interesting to understand about the power dynamic between investors and projects. And we only want to invest in projects that we have at least to fight for a little bit, right? you want to invest in the projects that everyone wants to invest in as well.
Mhm.
So they should be oversubscribed. So for that, we also have to bring as much value as we can to so that the projects let us invest, right?
Yeah.
That's how you want it to happen. If the projects are coming to you begging for money, well, pretty much it's a very easy
Yeah.
pass. And so the community helps with the research, but also help with the value added. That's actually one of the key fundamentals about decentralized VCs compared to traditional VCs. And I think both are needed, by the way. But they really help bootstrap the community. So when you join, you do get access to very exclusive deals. And you have a duty, if you do invest in one, to help support the project, because that's kind of the unwritten deal that you have. And so it's as simple as liking on Twitter, but also spending 5 minutes a day on the Telegram community, and maybe answering some noob questions or whatever. And so all that adds up and brings a lot of value to the project. Now, of course, we also do posts and videos and Twitter Spaces, and gains as a company brings value, but the community does as well.
Yeah, I was actually, that's probably the next question. Like, what tangible value do you have to offer new projects here? So you mentioned already the community that's buying in. These are people who are active investors of early startups, and they people who are in the crypto space. I'm one of those people, and so you've got a community. You've got I heard you say Twitter Spaces and videos. Could you line that out for me? Do you have influencers? Do you have marketers? Do you have uh, Discord builders? Community? Like, what is it specifically? Do you have for these new projects that come to you?
Well, it's a good question. I guess Discord builders would be a nice addition. We don't have that currently, but we do help with content creation on our own social media, and we have a network of KOLs as well that we can bring selectively to projects. We have VC friends that we can bring in. We have contacts with Launchpads, and we have contacts with various service providers, as you mentioned, marketing agencies, market makers. So we can help a lot these projects with
Got
95% of what they need.
Awesome, awesome. So, what have been some of your best projects like, and how much have they grown since they came to you? And how could we have gotten into that?
Yeah, well, so some of the best names would be Avalanche. I believe it was probably in the top 10 at some
Big
point.
one.
So, yeah, this was amazing. We got Hashgraph, which is very well ranked as well, but didn't do such a high multiplier. There was also Quant Network. And I guess a very notable one was Blocktopia last
Yeah, that's a
year,
big one
which
too.
peaked at 1,000x. But you can go to our website. We actually have a portfolio section, and you can see all the all-time high and current returns.
Mhm.
And something as well that to mention is important. We are fully transparent. So we wrote an article for what we did in 2021, and you can find in that article quite a large spreadsheet with each and every one of the 121 deals we did that year, all the names, all the prices,
Awesome.
and then you are free to check on ConGecko how they're doing and whatever, and decide if based on our track record you think it's good to join Gains.
Gotcha. So when a project comes to you, do you have like do you have like an individual that's taking care of them, or like what's the process here? So say I have something like an NFT project, that Cowboy Coin, right? Or something. I come to you, what can I expect? Walk me through kind of like the first steps that would happen with my project.
Yeah, we have a few guys that will usually take an initial call. We skim through the deck. I guess the main points that we will look at are, well, there's a lot that's is the vibe, how we feel with the person. There's a lot of investments that happens on just on an intuition, I
Like a
guess, and
gut
you just
feeling, right? Belly to belly type of
yeah, 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 yeah. And that's always very hard because you just build it with experience. There's no shortcuts.
stuff.
So there's that, and I guess we would, well, take a look at the valuation, see how the valuations vary between rounds, right? Is there a round that got like a 90% discount or whatever. Like friends and family, sometimes you have these rounds hidden. But the most important thing would be the team, because it's true that you do invest in teams, and we look for green flags. So, for example, if the founder had a previous exit as a successful entrepreneur, that would be like really amazing. We also look for people who have known each other for some time, for example, because one of the main causes of startup failure is founder disagreements.
Hmm.
So, knowing how to handle conflict and everything is good. And then, of course, if they have been execs at other big companies, that's a big plus, everything. So we take a look at a bit of everything, to be
That's
honest.
actually really interesting. I never thought about that. Good long-term relationships, because that's how they manage conflict resolution. Successful exit strategies on previous project, which is another one, and of course, prior, work history, like what kind of where did they serve before? Is this their first project? Those are three that are very rarely talked about, but I see that you do that. How do you go about that? Do you call around their family? Do you look on their LinkedIn? Like how do you exactly go about that piece of sleuthing?
Well, pretty much you ask them, and you see what they say. You do hope they're not lying, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's how we do
That's
it, I
that
guess.
intuition thing again. You've got people that are good
Yeah,
readers and like who've been
yeah,
and
yeah.
doing this for so many other projects and stuff. I got a few.
Yeah, and I mean we do so we do verify lots of things, right? For example, lots of projects will actually kind of cheat and say, yeah, this VC is in, and so we're friends with this VC. We ask them, hey,
That's
are you really in?
yeah,
And they're gonna say, no, we just had an introduction call, and so so we do check these things, for example.
yeah. And then if they're lying, that's already like a big red flag. Like, oh, get the heck out of
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
lying to
yeah.
me. Yeah, yeah, you can't do business like that. All right, so I got some questions from the community here, from Al specifically. What are the biggest challenges for new projects, and how does gains add value, help overcome these issues?
Well, um, I think it's tough to be noticed in crypto, right? I mean, so ultimately, everyone is fighting for attention. So you have to how do you capture it, right? So you have to be pretty unique, and it's hard. It's very hard in crypto. I mean, copying works when when the launchpad trend. Well, everyone does a launchpad. Metaverse. Everyone switches to metaverses. But how are you really unique? I guess spreading the word is important, and not being boring. But it's very hard.
Yeah,
We try to help as much as possible. Tell them, hey, sometimes this post, we're not actually gonna retweet that because sometimes a retweet, believe it or not, like might be damageable, right? If you retweet some kind of like just okay news, they're gonna say, why are we seeing this? Why are they making so much noise about this weird news?
yeah,
So I mean, I guess it's a bit of everything. But yeah, for new projects, the struggle, if they have raised, it's very hard in crypto. You do realize it just depends. In a bull market, everything pumps. In a bear market, nothing does. So you have to build and acquire users,
yeah,
and then you see the real business model. And it was very funny because actually, compared to traditional finance, you have pitch decks, which we have in crypto, but in traditional finance, you have business models, which we don't really have in crypto. In crypto, you have some kind of tokenomics, but that's not really a business
right,
model. Very few projects do models with like numbers. Hey, if we have 1,000 users, here's how much we'll make or whatever. So they just bet on like marketing and kind of short term things, and I think that's an issue crypto has as an industry as a whole. And I think the bear market helps realize these things. Um, but yeah, it's a work in progress for sure.
gotcha. Yeah, Gains does things a little bit different from how I've seen different launch projects. To get invested in Gains, you have to create like a whole account, and then you have to like connect your wallet, which is standard. Why the aspect of creating your account on Gains versus something like a BSC pad where I don't have to create an account? I could be anonymous here. Why did you choose to go down that road?
So we want to make it easy. I think making an account, well, it's not that long, and the ultimate goal and vision is for us to target the millions, the tens of millions of people that are currently investing, let's say on eToro, on Robinhood, in stocks, and we bet that at some point they will move to crypto, and a part of them will move to early stage investing. And so that's quite a big market. And so we're trying to make it as easy as possible. And I think it's nice if people have their account. It feels a bit like home, and so they can also see everything they have done on the platform. So some of the guys are pretty hardcore. They will do like 50 deals, and so it can be a pain in the ass to manage because you have different vestings, different prices. Sometimes they change along the way. You receive tokens on different blockchains, so it's very hard, right? If not super organized. So one thing is we have a calendar where people can see that they're going to receive 5% of tokens on Monday for this specific project on that specific blockchain, and so on. So it's good to have an account for this. We have tried to make the account process, creation process, pretty straightforward and quick.
Yeah, I think you guys have the cleanest UI as far as the dashboard and stuff like that. So I thought that was very useful. Here's another question here. What are the challenges of being a launchpad and how have you overcome them?
Well, it's very hard. Everyone kind of wants your money, right? I mean, even though it's not my money that I'm investing with these amounts, but I'm investing a bit in every deal, and you have to make tough decisions every day, right?
Mhm.
And when you push a project to the community, well, you're like, is it a good project really? Is this going to be good for the guys? So there is some kind of responsibility. It's just like decision judgment on a everyday basis. And then there's a lot of follow up. We actually have a pretty large biz dev team because when we have invested in hundreds of projects, of course, the deal is that we stick with them and we support them. So we have to have a few people in hundreds of chats being ready to respond to support. And so that takes some manpower for sure and some skill. So I guess that's what we do. And yeah, the challenge is the same for everyone. How do you attract the best names? And so we're slowly working our way up. When we take a look, through the years, we are making friends with, first of all, C tier VCs, then B tier, then A tier. And when you are friends with VCs, well, you share deals with them, and that's very beneficial because then you get their deals as well. So that's what we're trying to do, I guess. Climbing the steps in the VC game.
Yeah, so you're basically you have a problem of getting the best top tier projects, and to do that, you want to get connected to the best top tier people, and so that's what it's happening. You're just increasing your reputation. You're making more connections, more, bigger community, better community, and that's how you're getting these deals. Got it. Cool. How do you see the Launchpad space developing over the next 2 years?
It's a good question. Well, I see. I think a good number will die, but I think it's very interesting. Like I really believe a lot in this crowdfunding, right? I think GameStop was very powerful in showing the strength of the retailers versus the very big institutional
Mhm.
guys. And so for now, these launch pads and decentralized VCs, they're not so big. They're like maybe a few hundred, maybe a few thousand people. But if we have tens of thousands of people that invest in a deal, these guys can make a lot of noise. They can get trending on Twitter. They can create some serious
Yeah.
things that even a top tier name like Alameda or whatever might not be able to do.
Mhm.
So there is real strength in numbers in the people that believe in something, and so I think we'll see some launch pads being more mainstream. We have CoinList for now, and I think we will see a few more.
Gotcha. Awesome. Yeah. So we already talked about kind of the scope of the 2 years and what are the general challenges of the Launchpads. This one's kind of like a encompassing question. What specifically is Gaines' strategy in this bear market? What are you guys specifically doing? Not just kind of like I want to hear about like your mindset and how you're thinking. Like we want to create more relationships and better relationships, but more specifically, what is Gaines doing on a day basis, on a monthly projected goal basis, on a quarterly basis? What are you guys doing?
Sure, very good question. So first of all, we did pretty much like what most of the top companies did. We did lay off some people, six to be exact,
Mhm.
because the goal is surviving. That's pretty much the
How
thing,
big is
right?
the
If you
company,
survive
by
and
the way?
others die, come
How big
again.
is the company?
We're about 20 people
Okay,
now.
got it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a big chunk.
Um,
That's a big chunk.
that was quite sizable.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, we had some non, you know, something like secondary
Mhm.
projects, that we postponed pretty
Mhm.
much. So that's one thing. And we are focusing on, so first of all, we have slowed down a lot the number of deals. We focus much, much more on quality these days. So in the past, we did sometimes like a deal a day when it was really crazy, like 7 deals a
Yeah.
week. Nowadays, it's like more like one per week or every 10 days. But what we do is we do our best to keep the community active. And so we actually launched, or actually, I think we will launch maybe today or tomorrow, quizzes. So a bit like what Coinbase Earn does, you will be able on the website to see a new tab that says quizzes. And there will be quizzes about anything, about like general things like Bitcoin, Ethereum, or like GameFi, whatever. And you can have sponsored quizzes by your project in which you will be able to earn some tokens. So I think it's going to be a very exciting thing, a bit gamified. Earn a bit of money if you want, but most importantly, learn. So this is what we do. We also are adding a bot to our Telegram chat with levels. So again, kind of gamifying the whole process. And the people who post the most messages, the most interesting messages, they will have a higher level and they will get some kind of recognition in the community.
That's cool.
So pretty much that's what we're trying to do.
Gotcha. So yeah, so it's more specifically generating engagement and keeping a community active, especially in this tough time. I know as a YouTuber that my views decrease in a bear market because no one wants to see their no one wants to talk about crypto. They want to hide their head in the sand. But the ones that are here and engaging and active are some of the bedrock cornerstone people forming any of one of our communities. Is there?
And
Yeah.
sorry, I should just mention one more thing. We have a project that is totally different, but that we have funded on the side for the past year, and it's a project about memes. So it's not a meme coin at all, but it's a social network for memes. And we actually launched it about a month ago because we figured, everyone is crying, so we will try to make people laugh instead with
Mhm.
memes. And so this project also will be tokenized in time. For now, it's a simple Web2 app, but we do have that, and we're pushing a few memes as well to
Gotcha. We'll
just
get the link
with
and make sure it's
meme.
in the description or comment section down below. Be sure to
Sure.
check out that. Um, so okay, so you've got a whole bunch of community building stuff right here. A lot of things that are just launched. Can you tell me what's the? This is probably one of the last questions. What is the most exciting thing for Gains associates coming up in the near future here? What can I be excited about? What's the secret fire in your belly that you haven't told anyone yet, but you just can't wait to tell it to the world? What is it that you are just so super over the moon about right now?
Well, I mean, I have one thing, but I can't tell people about it. So um,
Tell me
we
anything that you can tell me about it.
we have some very nice kind of top level people that we're speaking with and that we're trying to bring on board that would bring a lot of recognition and very nice deal flow as well through their network. I think that would be quite game changing.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's I guess that's what I can
Good
say.
deal. Anything like any other thing not related to that? So you're saying that you are talking with some major players in the space that has like potential for major deal flow and real credible people. Is there anything else that's like you could tell me a full fledged picture of? Like what can we sink our teeth into? Because at the end of the day, I want to be investing in a coin that has like news and stuff that's coming out. You've already come out with a few things that are great. But what's down the pipe here that's very open to the public?
I guess I'll tell you two things. The first one is that we have a launchpad this time for public sales, that is 100% ready, 100% audited, and that we will launch when the market picks up. It's just no use to launch now. We finished the development in the bear market,
Great.
and we didn't want to waste this ammunition. So we have that, which I think can help things a lot because there's a much bigger market for public sales than private
Hmm.
sales. When you check all our competitors, all the decentralized VCs, they're rather small, right? It's usually a few hundred people, maybe 1,000, something like that at most. But the people interested in public sales, they're many thousands, and sometimes more. So that would help us kind of get to a new market in
Could
crypto.
you help me define
And
the difference between a private and a public sale, and for anyone else who's watching too?
sure. So there are several stages to fundraising, and the names they're a bit arbitrary, but you can have like pre-seed, sometimes friends and family, seed, private, strategic, pre-sale, and then public. I mean, there's a lot of names, but essentially from earliest to later rounds, and then sometimes you have Series A, B, and C, and so on. And pretty much the earlier you invest, the lower the price. But as I mentioned again, the more risk you are taking on because the product is less developed, because you are locking your capital for longer in two ways, actually.
Mhm.
Because the time between when you invest and when it's going to be listing is going to be bigger. And also because you're going to have a heavier vesting. So there's a few things to take into account. And so the private sales, yeah, they're usually not super early, but they're rather a bit exclusive and still decently early.
Mhm.
And the public sale is pretty much like the cherry on top, right? The public sales usually you don't raise that much. It's not ready for the funds that the projects do them. It's to add some spice. It's the marketing. It's like super exciting. Hey, get in. There's only a few spots. It's super oversubscribed. We're gonna launch soon. So these are the main differences between private and public.
Awesome. And so that Launchpad is 100% ready to roll when the bull market comes back. So like when that thing hits, we're gains and we're ready to roll with that. That you said that was the first one. What's the second one?
Yeah, and the second one is we are also talking to people that have access to some of the biggest influencers on earth, and especially in India. And so, if we can lend them, well, 1 billion people, if only 1% decide to join gains and to invest, that would make a big change.
Yeah.
So there's the big guy, which is deep in crypto, and then we're also talking to big guys, just influencers in general. When people will be more mature and see crypto as less of a scam, then if we can activate these guys, that would be very, very big.
Yeah, and to generate a way out. I mean, like you said, the power of retail and the power of the crowd, being able to just a lot of people being able to put in a little bit can move the needle in big ways, especially with smaller early stage startups. So I appreciate that, guys. If you are interested in Gains Associates, check out the links down in the description down below. Alex, I'm going to give you the final word here. If a cowboy is on the fence here on whether or not to invest in Gains, especially in this type of market, what would you say to them?
Well, we have been here for 4 years. We don't intend to go anywhere for the next four, at least. We are public, transparent. You can check everything. You can go join our public chat and ask people for their experience, how things are. You can contact me if you want to ask me anything. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. And I think there's the price, in my opinion, is quite low at the moment for a lot of projects. So I think it's a good buying opportunity for gains, but for a lot of tokens in general in the market for sure.
For sure. Alex, thank you so much for talking to us about gains. Guys, thanks for watching this video all the way till the end. Check out the links down below in the description for that meme side project and for Gains Associates. And we'll see you in the next video. See ya.